JT Coyote, in a nutshell, tell folks what happened.
Well, Alex, it was pretty crazy. It's good talking with you, by the way.
Good having you on with us. Glad you weren't killed by the SWAT team.
Man, I tell you, it could have turned ugly real quick. I'm a gunsmith, and I run my business out of my home. So, I've got...
Century 21 did well, though. Stasi,
go ahead. They did their job under InfraGard. It's amazing how quickly they work, too. But any time a federal warrant is issued, they came in. They were 2 hours late. They came in. They were supposed to be one realtor and a buyer that was interested. It turned out to be like a convention of Century 21 real estate agents. And, they were interested, they came in. The one guy was interested in my telescope, another guy interested in my dog, and they fanned out all over the place.
Yeah, that's an excuse. They were running probably a black op. They get kickback goodies for whoever they were at. All
they had to do was see something that they could say was. And the firearms were secondary. They saw my annealing apparatus in the lower bathroom where I anneal 100-year-old cartridge cases to make them usable again for these old antique firearms. People like to shoot their old relics. But
they do describe in the warrant that guns were seen.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. And it said this is consistent with a meth lab.
Yeah.
The firearms mean you're a meth lab.
That's, in their head. And so this guy goes down and swears a complaint against me. And because he used that term, meth lab, that automatically brings in the DEA, so a federal warrant is issued. Well, the sheriff in the county, anytime a federal warrant is issued, he has to honor that. And, when he found out that it was me, I've known John for years, and he goes, oh, no, we're not going to have one of those in here, not with him.
Thank God you had a good sheriff who wasn't drunk at the bar at night. He actually was watching the warrants coming across his desk like he's supposed to.
Exactly. John Miner is a constitutional sheriff par excellence, and he's what everyone praise they have as a sheriff in their county. He was off duty. He hadn't slept. He'd been up, the sheriff's work is never done. And, in street clothes, him and the chief of police, Mark Hamschmidt, they both knew that this could go ugly because they all know what I do. And, I keep loaded weapons around. We live in an area where, the biggest drug bust in county history happened 2 years ago, 2 blocks from my house. So we're in that gray zone between commercial and residential. So, I'm like you, Alex. The Indian is favored in her, and she's, she's got stalkers. She's 17 years old, and you don't know who's going to come through that door. So the problem here was the way the whole thing went down in town. They invented stuff. I don't know. Did you read that incident report?
No, it was just absolutely insane. Yeah. This is how America is. This is what they do. Listen, folks, when workers are in your house now and see a bruise on your kid's leg, you don't know if SWAT team's coming. Because that's all of America's being converted to the Defense Department and the private agencies, the defense contractors owning the red lights, the threat fusion centers, the police training. Most of the new college grads are law enforcement related, literally. They're converting everything over. So that's how those realtors make their money, is getting a cut off of who they rat out. And so they just run around 24/7 tattling on people. Or if they can get a property. See, we were selling our house. That's why they were here. If they can get a property condemned as a meth lab, they can pick it up for nickels on the dollar. No, I know. For people that don't know, this country has collapsed already. People just haven't figured it out yet. It's kind of like somebody dies next to you at the theater, and at the end of the movie, the guy's sweeping up the popcorn, and they go, sir, and they find out he's dead. He's been dead for 2 hours. Yeah. The country's pretty much dead. We might be able to defibrillate it, with some shockers if we wake up now and do it. But, I mean, it's just total tattletale spies. News admits the kids were being trained to turn in their parents. This isn't freedom. While the government ships the heroin and cocaine in and pushes Ritalin and Prozac on the kids, JT Coyote.
Mm-hmm.
But thank God the sheriff came. He told you now the SWAT team's coming around the door. What happened next?
Well, when he showed up, the dog started barking. He showed up, him and Mark, and they knocked on the door. They were both dressed in street clothes with their, sheriff blazers. Neither one of them was armed. They said, JT, we got to talk to you. And I said, well, come on in. I'll put on a pot of coffee. They said, no, we're going to have to talk outside. And that's when I knew something was up. John, he apologized profusely. It should have never gone that way had they contacted the sheriff to begin with. And, he says, in about 2 minutes, a DEA SWAT team is going to be searching your home. And I laughed. I couldn't believe it. And he gave the high sign. The boys came over, and, John had prepped them. He says, look, you're in my county. This is going to be done my way. And they were...
So anyways, they went around your house and came out and admitted nothing was there, and then one of them shook your hands for doing reloading because a lot of cops are into guns.
Well, if you walk through my house, Alec, every room, there's at least 4 or 5 firearms leaning up against the wall.
Because you're a gunsmith. You're allowed to have your job. It's what you do. You're not evil.
Exactly. It's what I do. And the guys, we sat around for about 20 minutes, and we discussed what could have happened had the sheriff not intervened.
But they were still acting like you were your friends, because the creeps admit they were recording you the whole time you were friendly talking to them.
Yeah, the whole thing was going on. And the thing is, the questions, I just wanted to know if they were training real estate agents to identify meth labs. And the answer to that was yes. And this guy had gone through an 80-hour course. 80 hours. And he's calling my reloading equipment a meth lab. Now, what does that tell you about the level of instruction?
Well, I would know what reloading equipment was in half a second. I've seen it in so many rural homes in my own family, but I guess to them, a big cranking, stamper, the parts, the casings, I guess it looked like drugs to him. Well, basically, if all you had in your house was American Idol and Janet Jameson videos, everything would have been okay.
Yeah,
but you had guns, and we all know that's why this happened. And yeah, they're taking all these different industry people with InfraGard and training them for anti-terror, anti-drug. You see these FBI ads about recruiting farmers to fight Al-Qaeda. Once they get to the meeting, it's, does your neighbor have a well that's not metered?
Yeah.
Is your neighbor smoking pot? Is your neighbor not paying taxes? And people show up to these anti-terror meetings, and they find out the people are the terrorists. And they say, oh, we're going to tattle and spy on neighbors to fight Al-Qaeda, because that sounds reasonable. Then once you get there, it's, does your neighbor spank their kids? And I've shown those news articles and federal documents here on air. This is what everything's being converted to. Now, what would have happened if the SWAT team would have come kicking in the door? Half the time they don't even announce police. You'd have been sitting there, you said, at your computer at night, probably moderating PrisonPlanet.com forum.
As a matter of fact, I was on InfoWars deleting all kinds of stuff because, what you were talking about earlier. And that's a whole different story.
So you're on there deleting, do this to the cops, kill this, kill that, and then here come the cops.
Alex, the ones that get through are 1% of the ones that get posted.
So it's just insane.
It's insane. And, for me, it's exciting because at that time of the day.
No, I'm not griping at you and the 3 or 4 volunteer moderators. I'm saying I got to get full-time people here doing it or get rid of it because it's like just FBI, people popping up, Secret Service here at the office, and subpoenas and guys with guns and sunglasses. And I mean, it's getting out of control. JT Coyote, stay right there, my friend. This is the GCN Radio Network. This could happen to any of you out there. I bet it's already happened to a lot of you.
Are you concerned for the safety of your loved ones? Listen closely to this message from pepperspray.com. Every 22 seconds a violent crime is committed. America has changed, and your personal safety is your first priority. Be smart, be safe. Trust Pepper Spray instead of your luck. Pepperspray.com is the only website you'll ever need for all of your non-lethal self-defense supplies. Pepperspray.com carries one of the largest assortments of pepper spray and personal safety products on the web. From big to small, we have it all. Pepper spray, mace, animal repellents, stun guns, and tasers. Pepperspray.com also carries a large assortment of products for personal, home, child, and pet safety. Enter SAFE in the coupon box and you'll receive a special discount off of your order. So what are you waiting for? Go to pepperspray.com. That's pepperspray.com or call 1-800-908-9988 today.